Hi, my name is Rachel Goins. I'm going to be talking with you a little bit about my experience with the infertility aspect of the Turner syndrome. Like I mentioned in a previous blog, I was diagnosed with Turner syndrome when I was 14. Um, After seeing the reproductive endocrinologist and getting the diagnosis of the Turner syndrome, I was then explained about my options, of course, in the future since I was 14 at the time. Um, I was explained about my options of becoming a mother. One of those options when I was diagnosed, which this was in 1997. One of those options then was IVF with egg donation. I began doing this research at the age of 18 and educating myself a lot on the artificial reproductive technology, which that's IVF, which IVF is in vitro fertilization, also surrogacy, adoption, and I've always been interested, ever since at the age of 14, I've always been highly interested in the infertility field and just staying up to date. Even today, um, I'm always keeping up on new procedures. I believe the latest one not too long ago was actually an ovary transplant, so that's something that's up and coming. Um, I became more educated on the subject than any 14-year-old needed to be, but in another light, I was kind of preparing myself as to what was to come a few years on down the road. Um, at the age of 21, I got married, and from the beginning, I was very open and honest with my future husband that I would be unable to conceive naturally and explain to him what would have to take place. I remember going and when I first told him about the Turner syndrome, it was very brief because I told him that I had something to explain to him before we got any further into the relationship. This was like the second or third date, and he got very scared and nervous and didn't know if it was, if I was dying or what he was, you know, he just thought it was something big. And after I sat down and explained, and he did his own research, he couldn't believe that it wasn't a big deal at all to him. And so I was very grateful to have someone so caring and understanding. Um, I got married. We got married when I was 21, and we always knew, that we did want children. I completed nursing school in 2006, and right right after that, we started to build our own home, and we then wanted to go ahead and start to pursue the option of IVF with egg donation. Went to my reproductive endocrinologist who had been managing my hormone replacement therapy since I was 18, and up to this point, she had always really enforced and encouraged IVF with egg donation, and went went ahead and scheduled the yearly exam with her, and told her that we were ready to go ahead with the IVF with egg donation process. And it was at this point that she refused. She explained to me that she was going to refuse to do it. That there had been new findings out that IVF with egg donation has, or any Turner syndrome women who become pregnant have a high risk of cardiac death, and that she would not be willing to do the procedure and put me at that risk. Even though I have no other health issues, no cardiac issues, no kidney issues, no hearing loss, anything like that, she still refused to do it. She had two other colleagues in her practice, which she did consult with to see if they would do it because they were also reproductive endocrinologists, and their practice did um, offer the IVF with egg donation, but they too refused to do that. Um, I did recall at this point, I did recall in previous visits with her, she had mentioned a fertility clinic in Cincinnati. The name of the clinic is Bethesda Reproductive Health and Technology, again located in Cincinnati. And so it was at this point in late 2006 that after my reproductive endocrinologist had refused to do the procedure, I did then call the uh, Bethesda Fertility Clinic and spoke with Dr. Glenn Hoffman. I explained to him the situation, my Turner syndrome diagnosis, and he then explained that he did apologize that I was not being given the opportunity, um, and that he would be happy to work with me. Of course, I did. He did have to review my paperwork. I had to go through the cardiac clearance, so that did take a few weeks to get completed. But once that was completed, he did fully agree to go on with the procedure. During this time, there was a website it's called Suro Moms Online. It's an online community for surrogates, egg donors, sperm donors, to kind of correspond and connect with each other, and kind of like a Planned Parenthood, and those infertile couples reaching out to those that have the uh, the willingness to help those who want to become parents. During this time, I had spoken with a lady on the website from the Cincinnati area, who had just recently done um, an egg donation, and she had actually it was a successful procedure, and she had actually gone through Dr. Hoffman's clinic at Bethesda, and so we talked for a little while, saw pictures of the baby. We kind of connected, and it just all kind of fell into place. And we decided to go forth and use her as an egg donor. And Dr. Hoffman was very pleased with her response to the prior egg donation, and the fact that she had already been through his clinic and had all the psych evaluations, blood work, that sort of stuff already caught up. There wasn't going to be an issue. And so at this point, we were ready to proceed with the egg donation process.